Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
We All Be is honored to have once again the one and only, the incomparable Dr. Randy Short with the word of what you need to hear and to disseminate, because information is truly power and knowledge is the currency of the universe. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, I am blessed, and so are you. Season's greetings.
Yes, sir.
Kwanzaa would celebrate that. And for all the folks that are atheistic, well, I hope y'all okay too. Everybody that's spiritual, that's cool. It's just good to talk to you. You have such a vital audience. You have such a vital program. It doesn't matter. A lot of folks look to Don Lemon. I don't. I look to you. I look to the Black Professor H2. There are a lot of people that are putting out the information that our community needs. And so it's a phenomenal service. I can't wait for you to become a multi-millionaire. You're probably already a millionaire, but, you know,
Okay.
I would love to see when you have the kind of money that Rollover Martin has, or Roly-Poly Martin, whatever you want to call him. But I'm just glad for you being out here. It is phenomenal. And I know that whenever I talk with you, that it reaches people because folks reach out to me and I'm able to give them more information. So I'm just thankful, glad to know you, glad you're doing your work. Proud to be in the independent, alternative Black freedom struggle to get the word out. I mean, you know, you're with Rushworm and Cornish, when you think about it, you're reaching people than Frederick Douglass's North Star paper did. You feel what I'm saying? Folks don't even realize how significant they are for what they're doing, you know, and I encourage everybody, even if they have an audience or a conference call of 10, 20, 15, 30 people, shoot, just keep talking, keep sharing, keep educating, because it's very, very important what people are doing. And these are very critical times, you know what I'm saying? Very critical.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all that. It's very much an honor to serve and to empower the people. And we definitely want to give you the platform to give us this vital information so we can make the right decisions and choices, or that we know we have choices in the matter, and that, you know, all is not lost. So, I mean, just talking, it's so much stuff going on right now, Dr. Short, but I know you got a lot of things on your plate that you want to share with the people. We could start a conversation with this deal with the pedophilia thing that's rampant in our society right now. This pedophilia trying to normalize the pedophile. Right now, you said they're trying to pass some important legislation through Congress.
Yes, I mean it's going to come up for a vote maybe as rapidly as maybe the first week of January. I mean, it could start moving around. They swear in the new members of Congress on January 3rd. That will be the 17th or 18th Congress, because this came in 2000. It's something like 118th Congress. It's going to be really, really something. And what I want to break down to you is that there's this thing called the Equality Act, but we shouldn't call it that, because we've heard whenever they use this word equality, right? Like it was the marriage equality, that meant that two dudes boinking was like a man and a woman. It might make you happy, but it's never going to make a baby. Okay, I'm not telling folk what they can and cannot do. Just we know that two women, you know, doing carpet freshening isn't going to make a child. And I know that we have issues. A lot of folks don't want to make children, but they need to understand that without babies being born, we're not getting anywhere. Everybody isn't meant to be a parent, but many people are. Now, this bill, this Equality Act, this we call it so-called Equality Act, and I'm not going to call it by its proper name. It's the House of Representatives Bill 2282, and they have a Senate bill. It's so HR 2282 or SB Senate Bill 1006, and literally we're calling it the Pedophile Amnesty Bill because in the wording of it, of this bill, they are moving towards playing us, okay? They're moving towards making everybody become subject to some really, really crazy ideas and policies. Now, let me get to the bottom of it. This bill isn't new. There have been variations of this bill going back to 1972. A few years ago, they had a bill called ENDA's Out, and now there's this little Jewish homosexual with the Italian name named David Cicilline. You can't make this up. I mean, Sissy is a part of his name. Okay, I didn't do this. I did this. Sissy spelled Cicillini. Cicilline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, folk in your audience think I'm making this stuff up. I wish this was all fake. Anyway, Cicilline was the first gay mayor of a state capital in the United States. He's from Rhode Island, and he was mayor of Providence, Rhode Island. And if you don't know anything about the East Coast, you don't even hear that there are black people in Rhode Island. I mean, black folk down there, they are beat down. Black folks, they've been under the bus. In fact, name a person important that you know from Rhode Island that's black.
I can't name off the top of my head. I was thinking about chicken in Rhode Island.
Okay, and I'll tell you the one I know of, and that's Jeffrey Osborne. He didn't even get that big. So I mean,
wow. I didn't know he was from Rhode Island. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's probably why he didn't make it. Okay, and he's got a great voice. He's got a great voice. Love Jeffrey Osborne, you know. So that band LTD was, you know. Anyway, so this same guy, he gets into Congress through gerrymandering, and he's the one that is on the fast track. I mean, and he's the one that introduces this bill, and this bill is he's the chair for the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee. So he's the rising star in the Democratic Party, and he working with Nancy Pelosi and John Lewis. This is John Lewis. And I just want everyone to know when I was with Dr. Martin Luther King, okay, you know when he starts. I mean, I don't know what else, but then again, let's not find out. It's never mind that. Your dad joke just stopped. Okay, let's get off that. Anyway, back to this bill. This bill, what we're calling the Pedophile Amnesty Bill, or Ped-O-Care, what it aims to do is replace all folk that are in the freaky, kinky stuff. Remove blacks from the civil rights laws and put in gay people as a protected class. If you get to see this, the law, you look at the original law for this, these people claim that gay people can't get jobs. Gay people can't get employment. Gay people can't get credit. Gay people are discriminated against in terms of education. Gay people are victims of credit redlining. Gay people are brutalized by police. Gay people aren't making any money. Does this the America you live in?
No, we don't. It sounds kind of strange. It's weird. Go on, listen.
He went back and looked at the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and rewrote it and made it so that it was a reality of wealthy, entitled, privileged, spoiled-ass white gays. That they were the ones persecuted. They were the ones picking the cotton. They were the ones lynched. They were the ones sold into slavery. And the people that have persecuted them are black, homophobic heterosexuals who need to be punished. We need to pay reparations, and we do that by losing our legacy for struggling for justice so they can get theirs. All right, so this pedophile bill not only looks to change the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to include the terms sexuality, sexual orientation, sexual orientation, gender identity. And what people need to understand is they don't define what sexual orientation is all inclusive of, or what gender orientation is. And what people don't realize is that they claim that there are 218 gender orientations or gender expressions. In fact, selling your ass in public they consider as a gender expression. That means if I'm just a person that likes getting hit in the booty, I would be protected like a black person who didn't choose to be black, didn't choose to have the hair or the lips or whatever, which is unchangeable, immutable. God made me who I am. Now, who you sell your behind to is a choice. Because if you said, hey, look, give me a freebie, they'd say no. All of a sudden, you're not going to sell it. How are you born that way? You weren't born with a $200 or $20 price tag on your behind. You had to decide who you're going to give it to and who's going to get it, no matter how you're swinging. Are you feeling me, brother?
I hear you.
There are 218 gender expressions. Now, think about it. We know about men and women. We know about people of the same sex. We know about people and animals. That leaves you with what? That leaves you with still 214 expressions. You don't think one of those includes children? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You're going to run out of things to talk about that you want to get with. And so they don't really define what this gender stuff is. They don't define what orientation is. And in the very first line of this law that they work this bill, it says it's meant to end discrimination based on sexuality, sexual identity, gender orientations, and then there's a comma, and other purposes. See that blank check move? Other purposes, other purposes. You didn't even tell me what the gender identity is, and then what other purpose is there? You mean they're not other purposes. What other purposes? Why won't they tell you? What is it that they're hiding from us? What is it that they know that people in America won't go for in terms of sex? Let's be honest, it's pedophilia. That's the one thing that people can't work with. So they're going to bring it under, and they're going to say gender identity, what most people aren't following. Do you know what a verb head is? Have you ever heard of a verb head?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what a verb head is?
A verb head? What's that?
It means I'm a virtuous pedophile.
A verb head? A virtuous pedophile. Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's right. I want to bang the booty of little kids, but I would never do that. I'm such a decent person. I'm going to just live my whole life of nursing, smuggling my bone to myself because I want to respect people who are not able to consent to give me some. You really believe that? You believe that? I mean, if you're that turned on, that's the only thing you think about night and day kids. Privileged, entitled, spoiled-ass white folk are going to never act on what they want? Does that sound like the country that you live in and the people that live in this country with the power and authority Don't they do whatever they want to?
That sounds right. Or then when they get in trouble, they call it affluenza. When so they still get a passage. Mm-hmm.
So they believe that you stop calling us pedophiles. The new term is minor attracted person. I'm not bad. I'm just attracted to minors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you call me a pedophile, that's like calling a black a nigger. I want to be called a minor attracted person. Dignify me. I've never hurt anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Salon magazine and the New York. They're just pushing this stuff. So you're in Memphis, in the center of the country. I mean, over here, this stuff is moving, and they've got people doing shows defending it, explaining how I've never hurt children and I'm not a violent person. What? Can you imagine if I were around somebody's kids and says, well, I like doing it with kids, but I'm a very decent person. I'm not. I mean, that goes out the window when we see you freak a kid. I mean, I feel like, where's my gun? Where's my knife?
But Dr. Short, how can you explain the church still around and all these accusations against the church?
Well, because you have a pedophile culture in a lot of places. I mean, let's just do this real fast. First and foremost, the entity that gets the most attention, and it's probably deservedly so, is the Catholic Church. First and foremost, you're out of your mind if you want to tell someone that if you want to be in our organization, you can never get none. That's why you don't see many black priests, because I know black people, you still don't get that. I mean, that dude, he pushed that button that the president has, blew up the whole world. He told me he couldn't get something. Black men just tear up everything. You don't even see black men trying to be priests half the time, because that's not going to work. The brothers are going to dig some roots. Brothers got some oaths to just believe that. So, and then sisters, not that many black nuns. Do you really think the sister could imagine having a big booty hidden under one of those long dresses and nobody could see it? They can't, they could, sisters be getting energy off the stairs. No, he's looking at me. No, I know I'm microwaving that Negro's brain across 2 blocks away. They look at it. You tell them to spend your whole life with the big habit on, and you can't see the waves or how they did their hair. Someone be no nun. And they can't screw either. So, I grew up Pentecostal, where the women wear the long dresses. Mm-hmm. The women but they have the most kids. It seems like the more clothes you put on, the horny people get. So, it's a woman who always wears skin tight, short pants, They're the ones that have like one kid. I don't know if they're like, all abortion queens, whatever, but the women I see that dress very conservatively, mm-hmm. they have the most kids. It seems as if the less they willing to show the nasty they are in terms of having the kids, they're the ones that really, drop a baby. So most black women won't be nuns, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But the nuns, that stuff, Catholic Church is full of gayness, okay? It just is, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's go here. Now, we know that the Catholic Church hijacked Christianity. They brought all the stuff from Mithraism and Bacchanalia and Dionysian stuff. And you know that the emperors, I know you're familiar with the island of Capri. You've heard of Capri. Mm-hmm. Capri Sun of Beaches. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the island of Capri was an island that the Roman emperors used to take boys to school them, and they would throw them to the rocks and kill them and replace them with new boys to school. Now, that same system of Roman emperor worship, full of perversion like Caligula and all these other people, mm-hmm. those folks took over the church and they took that garbage in with them. So the same freaks that didn't like Jesus are the spiritual heirs of the Catholic Church, And all the other little churches that follow the Catholic Church have this element in them. And in fact, one of the people that started the Protestant Reformation, remember Martin Luther, one of his problems was dude was loving him some sex, loving it. And then got all scared God's going to kill him. And his big thing was trying to kill his sex drive. And he couldn't get out of that almond joy mode. He felt like a nut. And just beating himself, pouring hot water on himself in the right place, trying to like make it go away. I mean, pouring ice water on, an erection, that may not bother you. It may turn you on. So, and then he goes to Rome, right, as a young priest, and finds out the Catholic Church had brothels for you to have sex with children, with women, or men. Dude's mind was blown. You mean I'd be like pouring hot wax and punching my stuff in the heart like this? I mean, really? I mean, where's God in this? In fact, got Band-Aids all over stuff, making it the face was going down, boy, down. Right? It was out right. Right. Dude, and so Martin Luther, he gets married and has a bunch of kids. But he goes after the Catholic Church. I think he's kind of mad. He's probably all the sadomasochistic things he did to his loins, trying to be a good priest. And find out that these people are hypocrites. Well, hell, I don't want to do that. So the little Protestant churches that you have now, one of the reasons they exist is that because people are like, shoot, I want to get me some. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. It didn't say sit there and just masturbate. No, it didn't. Be fruitful and multiply. God said, get yourself some. Not spend your life not getting none, trying to keep cock block everybody else like they do in a lot of churches. You said bottom. Really stupid ass people in church. You see these couples lecturing people about being married, and you could tell those people haven't screwed since the 60s. I mean, how are you going to tell me about how to be happy? Damn, if y'all happy, shoot, I'm going to become an atheist because y'all are scaring me, right? So you got a lot of problems. The Catholic Church taught, and it's been extended, that sex is ugly and sex is dirty. That's not in the Bible. I mean, the Song of Solomon, that's a song about getting some. I mean, it's a whole book in the Bible talking about banging it. Talk about breasts, how soft they are, how they like squeezing them. By the way, they never talk about the Song of Solomon in most churches, Okay, let's go back to Revelation. Start talking about the pit of hell and stuff. Hell. Give me some money. Right. And they make sex so bad and so evil. And actually, that's not even what the Christian tradition is. Sex is wonderful, but be married, be committed. Don't screw everybody. Pick one person and tear it up. And that's not such a bad message, especially with all these dreadful diseases out here. I saw one person that got something, penis looked like a light bulb. I mean, it's just so I don't want nothing like that to get me. So, so you got these perverts in the church, and they rape people, and they molest people, and there's a whole tradition of this, and a lot of these different groups. Jehovah's Witnesses have a problem? Oh, yes, they do. Big time. I had a Jehovah's Witness at my door. They could ring my doorbell. I was doing an interview. I was so mad. So I decided I'm going to be honest with him. So he rang my doorbell, and I says, sir, state your nature of business. And I says, are you in the Watchtower Society? And he says, yes, sir. And I says, oh, my God. Well, now I know I don't want you in my house. Yes. And he says, well, why not? I says, well, sir, how do you feel about pedophilia? And he was taken aback. I says, you're taking too long to answer my question. He says, are you aware that the government in Australia is close to shutting their church down because you have so many pedophiles in your church? Did you know that? Pastor said, do you support that? Do you think that's right? I says, are you opposed to pedophilia? He says, I am. I says, well, good. Fix it in your church before you come across my door sill, okay? I don't want to talk to you until you tell me what you've done to shut this stuff down in your church. And I said, this is not just in Australia. You got a bunch of pedophiles up in Watchtower Society up in New York. A bunch of y'all is freaks. The leaders are freaks. I'm not saying y'all too busy telling people about something that people at the top don't practice to do the stuff that they do. Put your pedophiles in check, and I'll talk to you. Slam the door. They stopped coming by. You must have checked out that stuff is true. The Jehovah's Witnesses will not mess with you if you know bad stuff about their organization, because they usually have some suckers that are working the doors. If you start telling them stuff that's bad about the organization and they find out they quit, they put your they don't want to lose their suckers knocking on doors. So they said, don't go back to here. I lost my best friend. Seeing some stuff. Anyway, so there's a lot of fraud in religion. I mean, we won't even get into what the Church of God in Christ and what Brother Kelly good to tell that dude stop messing with sissies at the convention. And the chump bishop for coaching. Do you know what's fun? I'm talking. He's a chump. Tell that old sister, she's in her 80s. She knows what she's talking about. Now, you know that Blake is having that fight with Elder Carter. He's claiming that this dude has messed with some kids. Anything's possible. I know you heard that the bishop from New Mexico, his name will come to me in a second. The woman got an $11 million settlement against him because she claimed he had screwed her when she was underage. Wow. And then he was going to try to screw her daughter. And his name is Keith Jones. Bishop Keith Jones, Bishop of New Mexico. Yes, I said it. $11 million that they said he's not paid. But that church has got so much going on. I used to think the world of the Church of God in Christ had gone down. Blake has taken it down. They need to call him Bleak. Okay. Bleak. Oh, wow. Yeah, like More Better Blues. And I think it's More Betters with adults. Okay. People say it's not. You've got a lot of these churches where the people have no desire to be moral. You have a lot of people that are Masons and Greeks and folks in the secret societies that have hijacked the churches, and they have all these rituals, and you'll find there seems to be something perverse in people who want to be served, not servants, and they feel entitled, so they want some, they get so much money. Have you ever met people, they have so much money until things don't satisfy them? Going to a fine restaurant isn't good. Let's go to Italy and eat for a week, right? Like Kanye had his own chef on the jet, so it couldn't just go to a sushi place. And you got to have someone that may specialize. People get like that with their sexuality. In particular, one thing that's driving a lot of this filth is the explosion of porn in this country. This country produces more porn than any other country in the world. Porn is linked to pedophilia. Porn is linked to violence against women. When you think about it, most of the people that make porn are men. So sit down and think about it. That there's something kind of queer about a man making fantasies for men instead of a woman making fantasies for men. Are you understanding me? That's why so much of the violence, smacking folk on the behind. I mean, whipping a woman in the eyeball with your sheath. I mean, ejaculating on people, the stuff that just the violent, graphic, ugly abuse of women that happen, and that when you watch that and that becomes a part of who you are, people get bored, and you'll find that folks are no longer attracted to adults. They want the innocence of children because they're so darkened by their own jacked up desires and the pollution that's in their minds. If you start talking or listening to how some of these sex deviant pedophiles say that child wanted it, she was trying to get me, he was ready. Really? I mean, you have to get back. I mean, yeah, can you imagine them talking to you? Yeah, man. Yeah. Look at the way that kid is licking that candy. And I know it. I mean, stop mocking me. I'll really, if you do that, I'll show you what, right? That person is perverted. They're dark and they're evil. They're nasty. This porn, the movies, this culture, the sexualization of women, sexualization of children, going back to Alfred Kinsey, let's do this real fast, his fake, bogus studies where he claimed that the research he did mostly on people in jail and rapists represented American sexuality. So in 53, he did a book on men. 58, he did a book on women. By the way, when he did the book on women in 1958, no black women were consulted at all to do his study on American women and sexuality. Why? The standards of black women in the 1950s was so high, it would have ruined his research. He could put white women in there, but he couldn't put black women. Ain't that something? Give sisters a hand for that.
Right.
But in 53, he went to the jails. So he went to prostitutes and prisoners, compiled these books, and then took this to before the government, everybody else, said, this is how American people really are. We really do have sex with animals, and like every 10th person is gay. And so if 10% of the population is gay, you have all these laws. You're repressing so many people who can't help. They can't help how they feel, and there's so many millions of them, and they're miserable, and they're committing suicide because they can't write. And people get, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want you to kill yourself. I didn't know so many people were miserable and had no hope. Well, let's change things so they can be people, right? We're doing it. Niggers, they're 10%. Gays are 10%, right? Make them a minority group. See where I'm going with this?
Yes.
And among that is pedophilia. And by the way, we've always had pedophilia in America. This is a pedophile nation. Let's just go all the way back. Remember, Thomas Jefferson was a pedophile, right? George Washington was a pedophile. More than likely, Benjamin Franklin was a pedophile. I mean, these people are screwing black kids. That was the norm. The norm. In your Tennessee, my brother, and in Virginia, do you know after the Civil War, if I was a white person, I wanted to screw your kids. I could say that your children were vagrants, the cops would come and take them, and I could make them work for me, and I'm screwing them in my house, and that's just the way it's been. They've always done this. Remember, if you saw, I don't like him, Skip Gates, he gets on my nerves because he's a coon. He interviewed Charlene Hunter Galt, who used to be one of my bosses, and her grandmother had been raped and had a child. The white folk raped her. She's living like, and someone raped her. And she's underage. And this is a norm. So pedophilia has always been with black folks. Either we were doing it and we had them taking it too. Think about that. I mean, if you own someone, you can't tell someone if you own a 12-year-old girl, you can't like knock that stuff up. It's yours. You own it. That's like riding your horse or having your dog put to sleep. You own it. And by the way, these laws are going to re-enslave black folks, and particularly young that people want to do stuff to. So now let's look at this pedophile deal. It's backed by all these people. HRC, which the Human Rights Campaign, which got its seed money from gay pornographers, the Falcone Group, Chuck His name is Chuck something. Forgive me for not remembering this dude's name. But Chuck he died from AIDS in the early 80s. But all this gay porn was used to fund the institutions that became this gay movement that you got now. And you need to understand that this gay movement that developed in particular, it took a specific shape in the 60s because the Mattachine Society decided, I think about September 1965, that they were going to get gays to be considered a minority group and copy black people. So they've been working, they've almost got there. This law is the last step. And one of the leaders of the gay movement is a man named Harry Hay, who's a pedophile. And he's one of the founders of the gay movement in this country, the radical gay movement. And he's in NAMBLA, the National Association of Men and Boy Love, which its unofficial headquarters is in Baltimore. Let them pass this law, they'll move it to D.C. And what's going on with this is that they probably really want this law moved now because the Trump administration has been rounding up pedophiles for 2 years. For 2 years, they've been rounding up pedophiles. There's 63,000 sealed indictments for people. And you're going to begin to see those handed out and see people busted. No, I'm not cheerleading for Trump. I'm just telling you what is. A lot of people have been rounded up. There are people in high places. There are allegations. If you were watching the Bush funeral, you know, I was too busy laughing. Okay.
Wow.
You know, saying, happy day. Okay, but anyway. Did you notice that they were handing out letters and stuff to different people? Did you see the Obamas got a letter? Hillary got a letter. The Bushes got a letter. You didn't see that?
I didn't. Okay, I'm listening.
People are saying that U.S. Marshals were handing indictments out at the Bush funeral to certain people. Let them know that the government's going to get them. And you have to understand, like, this Mueller thing that's falling apart. So, you know, the pedophiles are really worried, and because they're rounding people up. And a lot of people don't realize that when this Ped-O-Gate, this Pizzagate thing dropped, the Ped-O-Gate, that cost Hillary Clinton the election. People are that angry about pedophilia. They suppressed all this stuff about Ask Me Wiener. This nasty stuff is the norm. It's everywhere. There's the Franklin scandal. I think you've heard of that. Where they were taking people from Boys Town and bringing them here to D.C. and letting rich people and powerful people and government screw these kids. These people who are Luciferian, they get off to having sex with children and even killing them. Remember the gentleman named Aleister Crowley that many people claim was Barbara Bush's real father, which would make him George Bush, W. Bush's grandfather. This man had a book called Thelema, and he had that thing, do what thou wilt is the full extent of the law, so screwing, drugging, whoring, doing whatever you want is your religion. And this man would talk about the need to have sex with children, even to sacrifice children. And so this is very much a part of the white elite in this country and in England. It's a very degenerate, nasty thing. And when you start talking or hearing about people that leave Hollywood or they can't make it in the music industry, it wasn't singing or dancing. It was the other stuff that people had to do that make them go crazy or they need drugs. I don't know if you've heard about Justin Bieber saying that there were things that he saw where people were drinking baby blood. And this is what he's saying. That's why he's not making music. He can't do it anymore. There are people who are into this. Now, there is something called blood libel. I'm not saying it's true or false. But, there's this part of what folks call anti-Semitism, alleging that Jewish folks would steal and eat and do stuff with children. I am not saying that's true. I'm only saying that it's said.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about Hollywood and missing kids and the stuff and organ harvesting and all, look into who's into body parts. Don't blame me. The information won't be written by me. I have nothing to do with what you learn on your own. I'm not wishing that anyone learn anything that casts aspersion on any group of people, but where the chips fall, let them fall. Are you feeling me?
Yeah, I mean, like the New York Times article about the rabbis of New Jersey running that organ trafficking ring. I mean, that's in the New York Times.
And they were rabbis. And in Chicago, it's the same. And in Detroit, the guy who had all the places with the body parts in the yard in Michigan and in California and Arizona, they're in the same community. They're in the same community of people that make the pornos. They're in the same community of people that make the regular movies. They're the same people that have the gangster rap. They're the same people that are the leaders of the gay movement. They're the same people that are in Zionism. You get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
They're the same predatory lending. They're the same, right? They're disproportionate. I'm not saying they do all, but man, they had a hell of a piece of it to be so small.
Right.
Whew. I didn't say who. I'm going to still get in trouble for even having this discussion. Isn't America crazy? You can't even read and stuff because folks will come after you for, I didn't make you do it. Why should I be blind? You should stop doing evil. Right. So, anyway, moving right along. Think about the fact that 50 years ago, you had Stonewall.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand that Stonewall came approximately 15 years after the Kinsey study was dropped. And one of the things we have to do is talk about Table 34. It's a very good documentary. I repeat, Table 34. It's called What Happened to the Children, Table 34, on YouTube. Okay. Alfred Kinsey, a filthy, nasty, sadomasochistic, pedophile, racist freak, may have raped as many as 247 children to help do his study on male sexuality. He was the one claiming that when children have convulsions, imagine a grown man screwing a kid, and when the kid's crying, you're saying that that's an orgasm.
Wow.
That's the basis of all the sex laws in this country. In fact, this dude was so off, he used to yoke his own nuts. He would tie a rope to the pipes in his basement and tie it, knot around his balls and jump off chairs and such. It was real.
Wow. Okay.
He's the father of the sex revolution. He's the father of the idea that pedophilia is good and that children are sexual at birth and they need some. And it's me not giving it to them. It's cruel. Children are being deprived and they need to be educated and liberated, right?
Wow.
So it's funded. And by the way, this guy Kinsey toured all over America lobbying state governments to reduce the sentences for pedophiles. By the way, Kinsey screwed his own researchers, so he was the omnisexual perverted freak. He died from the complications of orchitis. Orchitis is from the shock trauma to his nutsack.
Say that again, Dr. Shorts.
Orchitis, the trauma to his nutsack. violating, hitting himself in the balls, yoking his balls. And he's the person that we should listen to about sex. I don't think so, but we do. He's the father of the intellectual. He's the intellectual father of much of the gay movement in this country. So if you wonder why guys rape kids now in a couple of days, it's the Kinsey influence. And all the people in psychiatry and psychology and that all know it's a lie, but they go with it. Are you hearing me? Mm-hmm. So understand something. This law, this pedophile bill, draws from Kinsey. It draws from this filthy legacy. And now it's dictating public policy at the expense of our children. So sex education, all this stuff that's inappropriate. You hear about them teaching kids in kindergarten how to screw one another and how to get in the booty by a man. This is coming from the influence of Kinsey. And this is now in the laws. It's been building year after year after year after year. And you have people taught this garbage. And they think, oh, wow, 1 in 10 people is gay. Children are sexual at birth. And I need to say something. There are certain traditions where it's okay to have sex with children. There are countries that don't have what we do, a age of consent. I mean, a lot of places you can get as much as you want. In Nigeria, you can screw someone when they're 11. It's absolutely okay. Now, let's do this. This is going to upset some people, but I have to call it what it is. If you're a black Muslim, and I'm not talking about a Farrakhan Muslim, I'm talking about you're an Orthodox Muslim, you need to be honest with yourself. Thousands of women die throughout the Muslim world because they get married off at 6 and 7, and grown men have sex with 9 and 8-year-old girls, and these people die or they're grievously injured by folks having sex with them at that age. Wow. So a lot of cultures, it's okay to have sex with children. I mean, they're married, but God, how can you consider getting married when you're 6 and 7, 9? I mean, you have a big dude. I mean, whew. I mean, that's, putting a big pig in a very small hole.
Well, I mean, they're not even on their period or anything.
Well, they'll get there if they survive, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's Islam. Yeah, you'll have to like it, get mad, give me death threats. I'm not doing it. You can go and find pictures and you see grown men of a little teen tiny girl. Fact. Another group of people believe pedophilia is okay. In the Jewish Talmud tradition, Ben Yochai and others taught that you can have sex with a girl once she's like 2-3 days old till she's 3. You can screw her.
Wow.
You can screw. Yep. You can screw a boy till he's 15. Then you gotta stop. It's in the Talmud, not in the Old Testament, but in the Jewish oral laws of the Talmud. So they got some really interesting things. So, what's a powerful religious minority in America?
Jews, right?
Okay, they are one. Now, if some of them are rich and powerful and they think it's okay to screw kids, don't you think that they're going to help influence things so they can fit in okay? Did you know that you have hundreds of American rabbis who are Jewish, who rape people, who went to Israel because there's no extradition treaty? So if you're a Jew and you just want to bang little kids' booties, get it. All you have to do is run to Israel, then you won't get in trouble. Now you understand why they always pick up those Palestinian kids. How kids are always in trouble about it. They go and take that kid to do something to them. In fact, Now you also know why many of the children become suicide bombers in Palestine, because everybody knows that you got raped by folks from the other side. You dishonored that person, that family. But if I blow myself up or I stab somebody, I can prove that I was a man.
Wow.
Ooh. And so for all the little fake, stupid black folks who run around, God's chosen people, they were raping your kids, would they still be chosen? You're a chump if you say yes. So, then again, you've always had this freaky, kinky stuff in European society, then you have it in Jewish society and all this. So, who do you think is pushing this in Congress? You know, the Congressional Black Caucus, they don't originate anything except for excuses to turn their backs or betray black people. So this comes out of the elite, white, Anglo, or Jewish shop. Now, I hope I've given some background. Have I answered questions? If you have any questions, please ask me.
I was thinking, like, you saying all this stuff, I was thinking about, the recent thing with the Centoya Brown situation. Like, what are your thoughts about that in addition to what you're talking about?
I want her to be free.
Okay.
I am talking to people about this. If there's a way I can reach someone, I'm just a little somebody, I'm for it. I'm for it. She should have never been in. I'm so sorry. I want a lot of people don't belong locked up. I feel really badly. In fact, let me just take a second to say this. I don't have this crusader hatred of people about a lot of things. So many people in our community, male and female, are violated by men and women. We've got a pedophilia problem in our community. There are a lot of young men who've been taken, a lot of young women have been taken. It was too early. It's made an indelible impact for bad in their lives. I remember talking to this one brother. He got mad and says, dude, somebody took something from you. You didn't get a chance to decide for yourself which way you want to go. You weren't born that way. You may be doing it now. Maybe you like it now, but wouldn't it have been better had you got at least someone that talked to you a few times on the telephone and you at least halfway like the person, versus it being the utility man attacking you in the booty in the basement of your apartment project? I mean, I'm not trying to make it right or holy if you did it the other way, but someone molesting, someone grabbing someone, and then someone it being pleasurable to them. But that's why it's molest like Bob. It's putting something on the table that didn't belong there at that time. Maybe everybody that's doing that would be like they were, but shouldn't have been left to them to consent to who they're going to have sex with versus being taken. So I'm very critical. I used to attend a church in Boston called Holy Tab, and I remember the week I stopped going. There's a young guy, his name is escaping me. He's fighting with his sexuality. He's in church, he's in the choir, he's in church every time the door opens. The people see that, and instead of helping him, some of these older men there, they laugh at this kid. Wasn't a bad kid. I remember him, he'd come to church, shout, fall out, because he wanted to be delivered. There come people could have put their hands around him, just say, hey, brother, we're going to help you get through this. I remember seeing the men up in the pulpit laughing at this kid, and it made me angry. And I remember one of the ministers called me to ask me a question. And I said to him, I'm not in a good mood. I don't think you want to talk to me. And he insisted, well, you know what? you're a jackass, and so are all the other pastors in that church. You see Andre coming in, he may be flaky, but this kid genuinely loves God. This kid wants to be a good person. They want out of it. They want out of the whole gay gang. They want out. Y'all won't help him. He's not at the club. He wants out. He's where he's supposed to be able, supposedly, to get help to get away from it. And y'all mock him. And I proceeded to cuss this preacher out. And to tell him, and I said, you know what? The ones they're laughing, if they don't like what it is, I'll tell you who's up there that's worse than Andre is. I dare someone say something to me. I'll tell people who's what up in there. They should have helped the kid. He didn't want, not a bit. He didn't want that stuff. Do you get what I feel for this boy? I don't feel for little jive-ass Negroes with their jerry curl and white gloves on, sitting up laughing, and they probably the biggest A.L.L people of all times. Huh? I hope that kid didn't die from AIDS. But he should have been helped. I wasn't officially, it's funny about, but these people who had, they should have done something for him. It wasn't a bit, and by the way, I don't believe that people are born gay. I don't believe that people have to do that for life. I believe that people can leave that thing behind, like they can leave a lot of stuff that you need to let go of. Toxic relationships, bad food, bad company, bad leisure, and that's something that people can leave. It's got a strong foothold on people like a lot of stuff. Some people have to smoke. Some people have to drink. Some people have to. People can leave that. They might need some help. I believe it's a psychological challenge, a spiritual challenge, and people can leave it. I've seen people leave. I don't know if I ever told the story of my friend of the family named Reginald. Reginald is a good example of black men that are emasculated by circumstances out of their control. His mother was a freak. She did not want to obey her mother. Mother's very religious, Pentecostal. She can go out and get her some bad boy dick. And the bad boy got her pregnant multiple times. It didn't last. And she was so happy the bad boy dick got out of the church. She could do what she wanted. And since she didn't get along with her mother, because her mother's like, girl, you need to stay with the Lord. And you can't pick a good church boy. And mama, they can't screw. What's he going to do for? Right? So what she does is she inverts the roles where she turns her oldest child, Reginald, into her wife, and she becomes a husband. And Reginald has to raise his 5 younger brothers and sisters. So he's changing diapers and nursing and feeding and making infant formula. And he can't go out and play basketball. He can't hang out. He's always in the house doing feminine stuff, taking care of his brothers and sisters, right? And so you're soft. And let's just talk about black women for a minute, because black women, y'all need to get told off about some stuff. Because all the black men have to be as hard as a cinder block, right? Or they're not a man, right? And a lot of sisters need to be soft, and they're not. But, black men learn to work with it. So you get a guy who might be nice and reserved. He's not the toughest. He's not out punching people out in nightclubs and so forth. So they dismiss his manhood even if he's straight. even though the sister can be bi, she could be in the woman, but, we give women a pass when they're in the wrong, and it's wrong in our community. We need to hold everybody with equal account. If you're doing the wrong thing, you're wrong. Your genitalia does not absolve you from what you do that's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Reginald the girls didn't like Reginald because he's too soft. The guys didn't like Reginald because he was too girly. Even if he wasn't girly, if you've been in certain neighborhoods, black men are also stupid. This idea of black man, you have to be someone that fights everyone and uncollegial and ready to fight and kill someone over a pair of tennis shoes or a bottle of cherry coke. That's not being a man. That's being an asshole, a criminal, a sociopath. But, hey, I'll be in the minority opinion as we continue to kill, beat, and fight each other over the dumbest of things, and we can't stand up to a cop or to the Arabs in the store, right?
Yes, sir.
Or to whoever bothers us, right? That stuff doesn't mean a damn thing. You and I both know this. But, so people like Reginald, the big losers in our fake masculinity and our fake femininity. So Reginald can't get to girls because he's too soft. He can't hang with boys. They don't want to play ball with him. Doesn't get to go outside anyway. And his mom constantly, berates and tells him that he's no good, he's weak, and this, that, and the other. Well, hell, he's weak because he's doing all your work, fool. So at a certain point, Reginald doesn't fit in. Reginald decides, I'm not like the other people. And he's right. Most guys aren't making infant formula from the time they're 4 or 5 years old, taking care of their sisters and brothers while their mother runs the street scoring men. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
To make a long story short, Reginald, who grows up in a super religious background in spite of his mom, decides that he's gay. That's his resolution. Instead of realizing his mom was a whore, his mom was a skank, his mom was a castrator, man-hating black woman, and there are lots of them. And they're a disease in our community. I hope I'm offending a black woman like that. Y'all are trash. You destroy the boys, you masculinize the girls, and you get a pass because you're a mama. We had a lot of sorry mothers. I didn't say the majority, but they're too many. We got the sorry men. We can talk about the black man who's the abuser, the rapist, the abandoner, the pedophile. We can take on black men, and we should. But we give black women a pass doing the same wrong from a feminine side. And it's not balanced.
Mm-hmm.
So Reginald, emasculated by his mother, okay, and his father's gone, concludes at a certain point he's gay. And then the gay isn't working for him. And Reginald goes to the mental hospital because he has a nervous breakdown because he gets his heart broken trying to be a female when you can't be a female when you're a male. All right? And he gets to the mental hospital here in D.C. called St. Elizabeth's.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets there, his first day, this nurse says, "Why are you here?" And he says, "I'm here because I'm gay." And the nurse says, "Damn, another one just like you." He says, "What's your problem? You have a problem with gay people?" She says, "No, I have a problem with straight people that think that they're gay. That's my problem." I'm gay. I don't fit in. Women don't like me. It's just. She says, "You don't know a thing about women because you've been around a lot of bitches. You don't know what a woman is. I'm a woman, and you can't say that women don't like you." And she says, "And you're not gay." Says, "I see people like you every day. All these straight black men feeling sorry for themselves because What, your mama didn't know how to raise you? Don't say nothing about my mother. She said, I'll beat her ass. Bring her up here. She said, but you know what? I'm going to make a deal with you. You are not gay. I know what a gay man is. You are straight. Just nobody's shown you. And he argued. He said, so, okay, I'm going to make a deal with you. She said, I'll make a bet. I can do anything I want to you for the next 2 weeks. And if you're gay, at 2 weeks, you can stay here. I won't bother you. And he says, I'm gay. Nobody can make me sick, right? Mm-hmm. Next day came in when she come to check on him, and she gave dude a blowjob. And he tried to fight. She pinned down and took it. Says, we have an agreement. Next day she came in. She did it again. On the third day she came in, when the door opened, he was fully erect, ready for her to come in. Did it again. And he checked himself out in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. He had 5 children. He was the most anti-gay person I ever met. Hated gay people.
Wow.
I want to ask myself, which meant that this woman in the hospital was doing the work, that she was like busting niggas down off this gay high horse. That you like women just, by the way, and that's something I'll say. You know, a lot of brothers like Brazil. I love Brazil. The thing I love about Brazil is the sisters there, the black women there, they actually like black men. Women up here hate men. And that contributes to the gayness in our community. And the confusion, the hostility. You know, you go and you speak, the sister looks at you and spit on you if you spoke to her. I didn't put my hands in you. I just spoke. I mean, all the lesbian behavior that black women blatantly manifest that they don't get called on. Black women don't call them out, and black men figure, well, you know, if I'm just cool enough, I'll give some anyway, even if she's gay. To me, it's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest problems that we have. It's all this man hate. We got some brothers that hate women, but you know what? If you go out and talk about how much you hate black women, come on, Herb. You know, most brothers get angry. They'll start calling that dude fag right then and there. Am I lying?
You speaking on it. It's true.
How much they hate black men, and everybody listens. Black women need to get off that stupid crap. It's stupid. It's killing us. And that's something y'all can control. All black men aren't bad. All black women aren't bad. All black women aren't difficult. But we got a lot of people in our community that need to be checked. I mean, the men, I don't have a problem. I think you know this when you talk to me. We can call out black men. We need to call out sisters, too. Because if that nurse was in there turning men straight, rejecting them, saying they're gay, she assessed them better than the doctors did. Your mama savaged your manhood. My God. Why'd she do that? You're a good-looking dude. Why'd she do that to her own son? Now, you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, so this is a true story. Wow.
Says Felder. Reginald's deceased, but Reginald came out straight. And I'm wondering, because I'll tell you something. Black men will take a woman that's gay, a black woman that's gay, and work on her. Sisters, have you ever done anything once? You know, have you ever done? You're the priest, right? Really, a complete Gestapo on black men, what they do. But you know, well, we was kicking it. We were young then. We were just dancing, and it happened, right? Black men just understand whatever. I was with the white men. See, sisters with white dudes, I would never talk to a sister with a white dude. Bye. It's like, you know, you touch a bird, baby bird in the bird nest. You can have it. That's how I feel about that. But you see, we need to be very honest with one another about these things.